welcome to What the Hex, your source for Warhammer Underworlds in under 30 changes that we got to get all covered before nap time is over. I'm your co-host, Davy, and with me are my two very tired co-hosts, Skyler. How are you, Skyler?
Enjoying fatherhood.
And Brian, how are you?
Yeah, I am also fatherhooding.
Nailed it. I am, but I'm at a much later stage. So I got to play Magical Athlete in the morning with my son right before we went to school. So it gets easier, fellas. Well, it gets different.
Yeah, it's just constant adaptation.
Yeah,
it's like 20% enjoyment right now. Maybe that's high.
It's not all bad.
For your context, we are recording on the 12th of February, and eagle-eared, that doesn't make sense, eagle-eyed, somewhere in between there, listeners will realize that this is coming out right after the balance update dropped. And so this is an emergency episode to cover that. We're doing that stutter step, so coming out just a week after the last thing you heard from us. We got a lot to cover here, so we're going to keep the initial stuff brief. Just wanted to give a quick community shout out to all the folks who had some shockingly fast coverage of this. That would be Staggerers, Goonhammer on their blogs, and Crit Focus channel. Staggerers in particular, I don't know how that was physically possible. Like I woke up, found out that there was an update, and then like 30 minutes, I hadn't even finished reading it, and he had it posted, his analysis. So hats off. That seemed inhuman, but
he did get second place. Maybe he's in on it now.
Oh, that could be. Brian, you had something you want to shout out?
Yeah, so we just also saw a Warcom article saying that the World Championships of Warhammer is now going to be in Barcelona, Spain, December 3rd through the 6th for 2026.
All right. We're going to skip what the heck is going on with you because we are going to talk that those changes. We have done kind of a blitz round before. We're doing something similar, but everyone's going to be self-timing. So if it sounds like somebody's kind of rushing to the end, it's because they're looking at their timer. We're giving everybody about 90 seconds per change just to be able to keep this manageable. And these folks got kids who are only going to sleep for so long. So anybody got anything they want to mention before we jump in?
No.
All right. I will take the first one. The first change that we are looking at is for the Gore Chosen, and that is Gore Hulk just had a stat change, and his long bendy arms went from 2 range down to 1 range. Couple that with some of the previous iterations, modifying them, and I think they have a notable reduction in power once those are all added up. And I guess that's only on the inspired side that his arms somehow got longer. But that 2 range is kind of a big deal, especially with elite aggro. So I'm interested to see. I don't think they became trashed here. I'm curious if you just kind of reach for other aggro options. We'll see a little bit about Wormspat later. They didn't show up at Worlds, and we kind of thought that was maybe people might just be tired of them. So, that's all that happened to the Gore Chosen.
Yeah, I think that's just been a change that everybody's been scratching their heads about, like why he's got bendy, stretchy arms. But I think the reason why we didn't see them at Worlds was primarily just because Wormspat are just kind of overstated and more defensive than they are.
Yeah.
So it's like where Gore Chosen can die with just 1 block. The Wormspat are much more resilient. So, yeah. I mean, it's hard to be top dog of aggro because it comes down to dice math and like who brings more dice. And they bring twice as many on defense.
Exactly.
Who wants to take the Grimwatch here?
I can take that. And just for the listeners as well. So what we're running down is something I queued up. If you've been listening, you know I like to grab a highlighter and figure out what all the differences look like. So I've got all the nerfs teed up first and then the buffs to follow. So if it seems nerf-centric, that's why. All right, so for the Grimwatch here, We have a small change to In the Name of the King. So once per battle round in your power step, previously a power step, if your leader is on the battlefield, you can use one of the following abilities. And so these are, just to remind folks not familiar, pick a friendly fighter, inspire that fighter, pick a slain friendly fighter, raise them and place them in an empty edge hex. And then if you are the underdog, you can use both of these abilities instead. So with this, previously being in a power step, you'd commonly see it happen in your opponent's power step, queuing up into your turn. And that can result in a pretty big power swing going into your turn, especially if you can do both. If all of a sudden you're rezzing a fighter, like, was it Gristle?
Yeah, Gristlewell, inspired Gristlewell, just undertaker up behind you.
Yep, exactly.
So kill him and then he comes right back even stronger.
Definitely allows for a little more predictability for like game state and a chance to respond as well, right? Like if you have to do this during your power step, then I'm going to have a turn before this impacts my game plan.
Yep. Good change, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, on to Mollog.
Yeah, so this is something that I saw at Worlds. A lot of people talking about for Mollog is just within the War Scroll, Unnatural Hazards just doesn't have a lot of internal balance at all. You just constantly are picking the squigs support so that they're even supporting themselves. Like it's a crazy strong ability. Deadly Synergy just fills like even more gaps with it. So now the nerf is that you have to pick one of the abilities per battle round once per game. So you're only going to get that squig support for one round, which still very strong, but you're reducing it by 2/3. So I'm in favor of it.
It's not like the other abilities are nothing. Like they
were just never used at all.
And I'll say, I know I'm biting into your time here, but what bothers me more than like imbalance between warbands is internal imbalance,
right?
Because that's something that really shouldn't get overlooked as easily. Like
part of your war scroll is outshining all the rest. But that's not all. They even have the second change to Mollog is Infestation. Is use this in your power step. Pick a slain friendly minion and essentially respawn them. So similar to Grimwatch.
Well, that brings us to the Starblood Stalkers. And these guys had a change to the Inspire. And we're kind of seeing a theme here. So this one is after your opponent's power step. If your warband holds 3 or more treasure tokens, inspire each friendly fighter. We've seen a lot of changes so far, even this early in our listings, that are just giving the opponent the right to respond. Man, I actually, this is, for me, even though it felt like super punishing, and Fish can attest to this, when you like do everything you possibly can and they still inspire, it feels bad. But I do kind of like those battles. But this just slows them down. I think it's good because the Starblood gets so much from their inspire. Just tapping the brakes a little on this. They still have the ability to do something cool with like Violent Blast and scatter people onto treasure and get some surprise inspires. But there's a chance to respond here, which is pretty great.
Yeah, love those kinds of. I prefer that timing.
Yeah, same. I'm always in favor of a counterplay, option. They still have the powerful asterism on their war scroll that can, that can totally help facilitate this. So yes, it's a nerf, but like you said, they gain so much from their inspire. I think a little bit of counterplay on the war scroll is fine.
Yeah. Hey, who else got nerfed here? Anyone that did well at Worlds?
Hallelujah, the worm spat.
All right, so I think I'm up to bat. Or up to spat.
He's not that tired. He's still got it, boys.
So we have Grandfather's Gifts taking a hit here, specifically Bile Blade. And it's going to sound like one nerf, but there's definitely a couple layers to this. So what it reads now is if the attack was successful, give the target a bile token after the attack has been resolved. And then enemy fighters have -1 move while they have any bile tokens. Remove all bile tokens from enemy fighters at the end of the battle round. All right. So -2 all round, way too much. So like it can feel incredibly oppressive, and it can bring somebody who's only got 3 move down to 1, right?
Yeah.
And like if it lasted the round, or like if it just lasted 1 activation, fine. But the fact that it's all round, I'm really happy to see this change. But I'm even more happy to see kind of the hidden layer here, which is because of how the timing was before, you could take a worm spat fighter with this weapon ability, go hit a 2 health fighter, take them off the board, but before they left the board, that bile token would apply. And so they would get the inspire. With this wording now, if the attack was successful, give the target a bile token after the attack has been resolved. You're not going to run into that issue anymore. So they're actually going to have to spread damage around or to inspire in a scenario like that. Like they can still chip away at a large fighter and inspire just fine. So I'm happy to see that they can't just benefit because somebody brought a horde.
So. Yeah, if you didn't think that this was a big issue, like just deploy and imagine that your fighters have like -2 move and how far they could get, and like it's terrifying to think. Even if you're especially if you're a hold objective player trying to get across to tokens, but also just aggro player, like unless you're actually, I don't know of any other warband that's ready to stand and bonk and trade with Wormspat because they have no other option to get away.
Extremely happy to see this. And even more so, well, I wouldn't say more so. For me, I don't think that change in isolation would be enough, strictly because they're rocking the best stats in the game, like outside of movement, right? Like that's the only thing that they don't have going for them, but like they've got great health, they've got great damage, they've got great accuracy. They've got, or at least fairly decent accuracy, and great save stats too, especially once they get inspired. And then damage mitigation on top of that, and all of these abilities. We've talked before about how crazy these guys are.
Supplemented with steady advance.
Right. And then you get to bring a deck, right? And like push them even further. So I'm really glad to see that this isn't the only hit they're taking. So the additional hit that they're taking here is to Disgustingly Resilient. Immediately before damage is inflicted on a friendly fighter by an attack without cleave. Previously, that without cleave bit just wasn't here. If the save roll contained any shield, reduce the damage of that attack by 1. So really elegant. I think I really like that, where if you're bringing cleave along to try to cut through the shields, it's also going to cut through the mitigation here.
Sure.
And particularly, I like the trade-off of like, do I bring Grievous and hope that like they don't mitigate and try to go for that extended damage, or do I go for cleave and guarantee that the damage I am delivering is going through if they don't roll a crit, and stand fast. So mitigation's still possible through stand fast, and like you're having to forgo the potential of grievous damage to deliver this. So I like it quite a bit.
I agree. I also feel like there's a little theminess there with where you can imagine, like, hey, bring the right weapon for the job here. But yeah, anything that's giving some more decision points for players, player agency, we are in favor.
Yeah, if somebody can dissect my gardeners and give me cleave to dissect the Wormspat.
Brian, you appropriately enough are going to talk Zarbag's Gifts for us.
Yeah, from Grandfather's Gifts to Zarbag's Gifts. Very simple change here. The Toothy Tomatoes are giving up a bounty now. So both of the squigs have bounty characteristic 1 now each. So unique warband that they give up 9 glory total.
At first when I saw this, I was like, it's kind of a bummer. There's like something elegant about every warband being 7 bounty. And then I was like, well, they also like cap almost every warband at 16 health. So if these guys are going to have 21 health on the board, they can have 9 bounty.
Yeah,
absolutely. especially like these damage profiles, like these jerks were giving them 0. Come on.
Yeah.
I liked it better before where like if we were going to have 7 bounty on them, it was like your first 7 bounty, you know, and like, so they were worthwhile. Whereas the picture presented here was like, straight up, just like their best fighters are the ones that are going to not yield you bounty. That was rough. So happy to see it.
Next up is Skinnerkin, and I haven't gotten to talk to Zach about these changes, so it'll be interesting on his take. But they had actually 4 changes. It was not the warband I would have expected to have the most changes, but that's probably because I haven't played them quite as much. But they're Inspire, and I actually had to be educated on this recently to understand what the significance of the change was. It says if you have 3 or more haunch tokens, inspire each friendly fighter. It used to be when you earn your 3rd haunch, so you could be earning and spending on the fly. Here you got to save them up to get the global Inspire, which then makes the next one, which is taste test, a little more applicable. And this is used immediately after you resolve a core ability for friendly fighter, discard a haunch token, and inspire a friendly fighter. It used to be the one that just used the core ability, and because they don't really get any defensive buffs, it felt pretty bad. Like, I remember hearing Zach say I would never use this. Now maybe, because you can inspire, you get a haunch, you can inspire somebody else. So that's pretty cool. The healing, oh my god, the healing has been toned down. Quick Nibble can only be used in your opponent's power step, so that kind of cuts the opportunities in half, and you can't heal like 2 before it wraps back around to your opponent's turn. I think that's good. And that between Quick Nibble and Taste Test, that's improved the internal balance, which I've already mentioned I greatly love seeing. And then Karnskir, this is giving me nightmares of playing against Phil back in 1st edition. Karnskir will always do something now. So used to be that 1/3 of the time he would do nothing. Now he will always at least do 1 damage and get a haunch, or he will push a fighter 1 hex. That is real useful.
Yeah, so locally, and I experienced this at Worlds, Skinnerkin are like crazy. If you can't consistently do 3 damage, in which case like he would just the Skinnerkin would just target the 3 damage attack source viciously, because if you can't do 3 damage consistently, they could just erase the damage, because they would heal immediately in your power step after you dealt 2 damage, and then before you got to respond during their power step, they would heal the 2nd away. It still costs them 2 haunch, but if they're playing accurately, like with Raging Slayers with the reroll, and they're using like Deadly Synergy. In my case, it was Deadly Synergy and Raging Slayers, I think, was the combo. And it was just incredibly accurate. And they were able to farm haunch quite readily, that they were just raking in the haunch. And I just, as gardeners, I could not deal with the damage mitigation there. And it was so much healing that it made the gardeners blush. And not just from my perspective, like as a gardeners player, like it just gatekeeps all the warbands that don't have access to 3 damage. Yeah. But in a interesting position, the Skinnerkin struggle really hard against Gore Chosen and Wormspat. And so it's nice to see them get something out of Grasping Talons. It also, because the global heal was just so easy, that it also made the accuracy even more. So being able to inspire a friendly fighter, like I think you will do that in order to kind of build up the haunch quicker, because they do get quite accurate from their inspire.
Yeah, I like thinking about that one narratively now. Like, so one of them eats
the names on these are so nasty.
Well, so taste test, right? Like one of them like just took the turn, and then I don't know, is another one like off in the corner having a snack?
Right. Try this. I made it.
Yeah. Or like the one that activates like takes a bite and is like, like the catch is good, and like it just hypes up another fighter to like get going. Help with haunch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and not to dwell on this again, but like I remember all these times, like again with this Grasping Talons, like, all right, I got 1 fighter on 1 health on on a treasure token, or in those days an objective. Like I just need him to live, and you're like, Karnskir's gonna fly over me. Like I'm either dead or getting pushed off. That sucks.
Right.
Well, and I did get a chance to talk to Zach. So I can say that he is excited for these tweaks. He's looking forward to testing them all out. Particularly, he brought up Grasping Talons and the Inspire. The Inspire doesn't have like an after something sort of trigger. It's just if you have 3. So if you charge with Karn Skewer, then after the move, if he gains the Warband's 3rd haunch, he can Inspire and change that charge into an inspired profile charge.
Wow.
I don't remember Karn Skewer being all that different on his attack, but
I'm not sure.
Could be.
But
maybe it's like
it is there.
Yeah, cool. So. Skyler, these days the swag you have is mostly spit up and baby bottles, but what if you're a big pirate ogre?
If I'm a big pirate ogre, then I am so excited for new reasons to spend my swag. So on Swag Blast and Swag Mortar, both. So Swag Blast is the one that's doing +1 damage and cleave. And then Swag Mortar is the one that's doing +1 damage and allowing you to bump up the range for the amount of swag that you spent. So you got to spend at least 1 going into these. But right now, as is, they weren't really giving you a reason to push the envelope and spend more swag. Like spending 1 into these was fine. But now, after this attack, you can push up to X other friendly fighters 1 hex and can give them each a charge token, where X is the number of swag tokens you removed. I think that's awesome. So you're going to be able to, after one of these gunshots go off, it's kind of like a covering fire sort of situation, scoot up to 2, fighters with pushes. And then like even better, you have the option to also toss charge tokens on them for various effects, scoring, or just to get around to making sure that black powder can reactivate, helping with that charged out status. Very cool.
Yeah. I was entertained by how they found a way to wedge those pushes into this deck, because I wasn't sure how it could be done if they weren't going to like take the gunshots away. So that was kind of cool to see.
I'll be honest, Davy triggered me because my kid does spit up crazy like blast and mortar, but it's just a casualness that he messes a whole new outfit up, and unreasonably triggers me. Anyway, I do.
One end is swag blast and one end is swag mortar. So,
dog, you don't know.
I do know, man.
I'm gonna start calling the kid Gorlock. Like, geez. Anyway, but like, it was one of the things that I really wish we could have seen more fruition with in first edition was like the companion keyword and seeing the parrot and the monkey move along with the friendly fighter. So I'm super keen to see that kind of come back here.
Yeah. Brian, for this next one, I'm going to continue my policy of not learning this war scroll because there's so many on it. So tell me, what exactly changed with the Loon Court?
Man, I did so much conversions on these minis. They always called back to me, but I was so spurned after their initial release in first edition.
Pretty salty. Yeah,
salty. Like, I'm super hyped to paint them, but I can't. Maybe I will with this. But so basically the way they work is you do these quests and you give permanent modifiers to the fighter that is dubbed. And so you can turn one of these gets into a monster. Usually it's Grib, but you can accumulate these things as you either achieve the even just attempting the quest gives you something, but achieving them also can give you something else. So you can stack multiple benefits onto one fighter. The change here is that now dubbed fighters remain to the end of the game. So you can pick you can dub a fighter each round. So now you can have 3 of them. I think Wellner's going to have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
These are resident
out of the frying pan into the fire. Like, oh, finally you put away the exile dead. Oh God, here come the Loon Court. All right. Since Phil is not on this, I'm going to have to handle the next one, the Hexbane Hunters. And they are looking at 2 changes, I think. So there is the Mark for Vengeance. And this was the thing that Phil probably would have beat me at our Q2 if he'd remembered this rule. So I'm glad he wasn't quite as good yet. But I think he's going to enjoy this. So it used to be that if somebody kills an Agent Azurite, then they will become marked for death, and then there's a reroll on attack against them, and if they're slain, then you can either draw a power card or take all the move charge off a friendly fighter. Pretty powerful effect. Now add to that that not only will they get a reroll, but friendly fighters have Grievous if the target is marked. So yikes, you are in a lot of danger. And that is friendly fighters. So even the dogs hate you, apparently. And they also have the Inspire got changed. And this is mostly that the Pock and dog interaction. So it used to be if Pock dies, then the dogs inspire. And now it is if a minion or Pock dies, then the rest of that, like pack of 3, inspires. So more in line with first edition. Those are 2 real nice changes, and Phil already really scares me with those. So I would expect to see more of the Hexbane's Hunters around.
Yeah, these guys have always been like teetering on, like all through first edition, they were always like prevalent because they had so many abilities, and now they're getting more. I think these guys have been
lurking. Deck was insane. Yeah,
I think they've been lurking, and I think they have a lot of really good abilities, but they did lack damage, and so cool to see this. And there's still counterplay here because it depends on who you kill one of their agents with is the marked one.
I'm really happy to see the trio back. I missed it with Pock and his dogs, like, being able to just take down a dog and then that not infuriate the other 2 into inspired revenge. I'm glad to see that back.
Yeah, and I think the counterplay was always just kill both dogs and then work on the agents. Like that was
right.
Yeah.
So now it's going to mix it up more, give more of that original play feel of like there's always bad options.
Yeah. Well, going from a warband that Phil has been terrorizing us with to a warband that he not so much has been terrorizing us with, Hrothgorn's Man Trappers. Skyler, you've fallen into my trap, and you're going to cover this one.
Oh, I am excited to cover this one. I mean, this is there's more to come. There's so many more warbands to talk about. I can't even believe how many are getting buffs and adjustments and all that. So Hrothgorn here we have more traps. So I want to caveat this change right in advance that it used to be really easy to kill the Noblars if you were interacting with the trap mechanic, because they always had to be adjacent to the traps when they were readjusted. And so it was like, well, then I'm just going to reposition and drive back your Noblar straight into the trap, or use a push card and put them straight in the trap. They're dead, right? So the survivability of them is the focus of these changes, and I'm really happy to see it. So more traps. Use this in your power step. If there are no friendly trap models on the battlefield, place a friendly trap model in an empty hex adjacent to a friendly Noblar, then push that Noblar 1 hex. Notably, it doesn't say then you may push that Noblar 1 hex. If you're placing the trap, then the Noblar is going to have a push that you have to resolve, after that. Whether you choose to push the Noblar straight into the trap is totally up to you, you monster. And then, which is also interesting. Like a play style could be like, I'm going to use the trap to whittle down my models. I don't know if that is going to be like the right choice, but
whole new level of suicide aggro.
It's going to be the right choice at least once, in the life of this game, and I'm looking forward to it. I hope I'm there when it happens. And then we have surprising competence. Use this immediately after a friendly Noblar moves. If that fighter is adjacent to a friendly trap model, remove that trap model from the battlefield and place it in a different empty hex adjacent to that Noblar. Then give that Noblar a guard token. Now, Noblars are hanging out on 2 dodge most of the time, I believe. Well, one dodge or two, that's significant, right? Like they're going to be able to not have to worry about being driven back into that trap. And especially
1, 2, 2.
All twos?
1, 2, 2.
1, 2, 2? Okay. So if you're using
that's on their inspired side, otherwise they're one dodge flat.
Okay. So this change helps a lot more when we're dealing with an inspired Noblar because they're going to be able to essentially the coolest thing I think about these changes is it really opens up positioning gameplay, whether that be holding or what have you. And I'm excited to see that because previous version of Wrathgorn, you had to worry about the Nobblers holding a lot more than you've had to in this edition. And I think this really enables that playstyle.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I'm looking at both of the Ogre and Noblar pairings, I see on both an effort to make the Noblars, the minions, a little more relevant, which I really appreciate. That was the worst thing about playing those warbands. Like, there's one cool guy, and these guys, like, just other guys are just in the way. Like, they're not doing anything for me. It feels real bad.
Yeah, I want to say skip so bad.
Yeah,
because I want to go to the next one. I don't know Canaan's Reapers well enough. So, for Canaan's Reapers, they have 3 abilities that each say use this immediately after your action step. They are replacing that sentence with use this in your power step.
Yeah.
I am not familiar with how that timing change affects this warband, whether that's a buff or a nerf, but I have a question because normally the use this in your power step sentence includes instead of playing a power card.
That's implied.
Yeah.
They've shored that up. Anytime you see use this in your power step, it's the same as the longer verbose.
And with them using like rune marks, this is something I always think they should have done is they should have just had like a ploy dagger for that instead of having to write that sentence out all the time.
Or a keyword. Like they could have saved us a lot of reading if they keyworded this stuff.
Yeah.
I will tell you, Brian, that this is a real big bump as somebody using Cunning Crew, where they're with a cunning plan where you push all the minions and it has to be done after the action step. When I first started playing that warband, I thought it was in the power step, and that was just like such a huge power difference. Here you get these because a number of these are defensive. They all have like a surprise component to them, like, oh, now this guy's on guard. So all these they allow you to let your opponent make a mistake or overcommit, you know. They're like, hey, I'm absolutely going to smoke this minion. You're like, just kidding. Now you have to attack Mirror Cannon or something. So, I think that's a real healthy buff for them.
Right, absolutely. Cool. Being able to use all of the information thrown at you during that power step before you commit to the decision. Way cool.
Well, Brian, thanks for selflessly giving yourself to the tithe. I'm going to have to do something way cooler. And Kamendor's Blades, quite a substantial change here. And I actually already played a game with these. Tried out. Emma and I got a game in last night. And their slashing, which used to be put a bleed counter on somebody, and then they would take damage if they used a core ability in the next action. Now it applies the bleed token, then a stagger token. If somebody with a bleed token should get a second or subsequent stagger token, they take a damage and they lose the bleed, and then bleed goes away at the end of the round. On first glance, I was like, I don't know, but it felt really cool. In the game, it felt like, hey, it really, I think it captured the idea of what they're doing pretty well. Like we're doing all these little cuts that are going to stack up. Like you're bleeding, you're fatigued, you're staggered. I really liked it thematically. Mechanically, it opens up a whole lot of routes. Like now this warband, if they can find sources of stagger, whether that's shoving people into stagger hexes, whether that's weapons that inflict stagger, or just straight up cards, then wow, they have access to a lot of extra ping or threat in that way. So I think it is. I think they were maybe sneaky powerful already. I think these guys are going to be one to watch after this. Very cool.
Yeah, they definitely needed a complete change because Skittershank's Claw Pack's Barbs was just completely just trounced their original slashing ability. This I love too because it lasts all around, but it's such a like counter to pillage. Like the pillage incentive of delving is gonna like really fear this. I'm super excited to see a warband that's kind of like gonna have a place against that prevalent deck.
Yeah, I like the variety that brings out too, right? Like when somebody puts pillage on the table, like that dictates how the match is going to be played. And so now if the opponent says, "Oh, and I brought Kamandora's Blades," like that dictates how the match is going to be played a little bit. Like you have to, think around how to play to that versus just going with the flow that you normally would have done, because you'll get punished for it for sure.
Skyler, it's almost as if we foretold what was going to happen and we've lined you up with another elf warband. Tell us about Knives of the Crone.
Hell yes, I will. All right. So this is the exchange I think I'm the most excited about. They have two changes and in combination. That's what I'm geeking out about over here. So Foretold Slaughter, which was the result at the top of the table if you were going to roll two swords in your foretelling. Then you would have access to, the next time you pick a melee weapon as part of an attack this battle round, that weapon has critical grievous for that attack. That's what it was. Now what it is that weapon has cleave and ensnare for that attack. And just right there, I'm already like totally stoked because crit grievous was often the thing that you picked up because the roll made you, not because that's what you were selecting. This is a much more attractive selection, especially at the start of a round. If I can pick this at the start of the round, that's going to set up more accuracy for me. And ultimately, that's going to allow me to do more prophecy rolls. So I get to interact with my mechanic more because my accuracy is increased, and the success of attacks is what I need to interact with my mechanic. I love that. And it being called Foretold Slaughter, I think that it's really appropriate that the prophecy that you foretold is being able to, I guess not prophecy, that's a little grander.
They receive visions.
Right. The vision that you're told is like the chink in their armor. Like it's the way that you're going to be able to take them down. It's like, I'm going to need cleave for this. I'm going to need ensnare for this. So to have the right weapon to take them down because that was the vision you received. Yeah, exactly. I love it. All right. And so then the other thing going for them is that their Inspire has an addition to it. So whereas before it was simply if Foretold Wisdom is foretold after a friendly fighter's successful attack as a result of the Visions in the Blood ability, inspire that fighter. It now also says, in addition to that, if Foretold Wisdom is foretold as a result of the prophecy roll at the start of the first action step in a battle round, inspire a friendly fighter. So you're rolling at the beginning of each of the 3 rounds as you were before, but now it can actually lead to an inspiration. So now it's also easier to teach then. You can tell your opponent right away if they're unfamiliar with the warband. Anytime I choose Foretold Wisdom in the prophecy roll, I'm going to be able to inspire somebody instead of except for at the beginning of the round, I don't get it. Sure. So that's cool.
Yeah. Brian, why don't you get on your horse and ride? We got
hijacking another elf warband. All right. So for Kurnoth's Heralds, we have 2 changes, and both to the archer. She seems to be the young aspirant to the team here, and she has 1 change is a simple stat change. She goes from 1 dodge to 2 dodge. So the warband finally has a fighter that has 2 defense. That's pretty sweet. But that's on the inspired side. So then the second change is to her precision volley ability. Previously, it was the target of the attack must be different to the target of the first attack. So a double tap, but 2 different targets. They removed the target must be different. So now you can double tap the same target.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty significant. That is an example of being able to do essentially 2 damage a range if you can get both shots through.
Right.
And that is quite the rarity. Black powder is one of the few other places where we see that. So,
And I was taught by G. This was something that he highlighted with his worlds build. This works for like a ranged weapon because it's not specific to what's on profile. So it also works with whatever that pocket squig is in Countdown to Cataclysm.
Improvised attack.
There you go. Yeah, you can throw out improvised attack twice with this.
Rose. Yeah, that was a cool moment there. From deer to wolves, I'm excited about this next one. This is Rippa Snarlfangs. When they dropped with their remake, they had a lot of restrictions on the wolf bite. You could only trigger it if you attacked with a weapon that had the rune mark. The attack had to be successful, and you had to attack the same target. It could not be modified. They have changed that to now it can be a successful or drawn attack. And as written, that currently would be no successes to no successes. And it no longer has to target the same target that the original attack attacked. And that second half, I'm a little more excited for because it lets them occupy like this really rare space of attacking more than one model at once. And that second attack, not super accurate, but as we know from the past, like sometimes they just sneak through. I think without crits trumping everything, it hopefully is not as oppressive as it was in first edition, but I'm super excited to try these guys out as a result. I already really enjoyed the couple of plays I had with them. That's thanks to Spinnerite recommending a pairing to me pre-Worlds. And I wish I'd been insane enough to take them. That would have been pretty epic. But yeah, real excited about this one. Should be interesting. Should start seeing them on the board a little bit.
Speaking of warbands, we're going to see on the board a little bit. Sons of Velmorn are up with a host of changes. Okay, so Deadly Command. We're relearning lessons from last edition, it would appear, where essentially they've removed remove all command tokens at the end of each battle round. Anytime your leader uses a core ability, he's going to get a command token. But if you're going to go ahead and invest an action into that, it's going to stick around instead of being something that you have to reinvest your first turn, usually, in each round on. So a bit of a tax has been lifted up there on you. The next one, Rise Again, which used to be a core ability, is no longer. You can use this ability in your power step if your leader is on the battlefield and they have no charge tokens. Remove one command token from them, then pick a slain friendly graveyard and raise that fighter and place them in a starting hex in friendly territory. You can only use this ability once per game. So we have a once per game trade-off here, but I much prefer that to having to spend a core ability on it. That's because the core ability only does a resurrect and doesn't do something more than that. It's a hard take. It's not very good action economy for the most part. So if you're going to allow me to do it in a power step, I'll totally take it once per game, and it gives you a reason to have to then activate your leader and get that second command token going again. And then the Velmorn Curse here, use this immediately after a friendly fighter is slain by an attacker adjacent to them. This used to have to be a friendly fighter with a raise token, so they've done away with that. It's just any friendly fighter that is slain by an adjacent attacker, inflict 1 damage on the attacker. You can only use this ability once per game. Again, that once per game is new here, but by lifting that raise restriction, it makes a lot of sense. And you don't have to wait for that one fighter that you brought back to get picked on. I don't even know why most people would go for that fighter. You're actually going to see this ability get used. Very cool.
Yeah, love it. Brian, you get to talk to us about Spike Cloud Swarm. What changed for them?
Jumping back to Chaos, yes. We got 2 changes here. We got Scheming Pack, friendly fighters friendly schemers' weapons have critical Grievous is just Grievous now. Yay, less dice dependency, while the target is flanked or surrounded still. And then Out of My Way full things got changed. Kind of a awkward ability that didn't really feel like it did anything. So use this in your power step, pick a friendly fighter and another friendly fighter that is adjacent to them, remove those fighters from the battlefield, and then place them in the hex that the other was removed from. You can use this ability once per game. So it's
what?
Yeah, because it's instead of 2 friendly fighters, it's a friendly fighter and another. So they have a War Scroll Confusion.
Yeah, that just went from an ability that was doing nothing to an ability that's doing a hell of a lot.
I'm a fan.
One of my favorite cards of all time, and now I can have 2 of them in one game. Oh my god! Yeah,
and one from the onset. Oh, yeah. And then the other change buried in there is you used to be able to have critical Grievous on like ranged attacks with them, like if you picked them up from weapons or whatnot.
I see.
Yeah, but just melee now. But
bit of a nerf.
Again, one of those trade-offs that you're happy to take. Like I guarantee Grievous instead of like just have a shot at it. Yes, please. I'll do that on melee.
Yeah, they don't have any ranged innately, so it only apply to upgrades.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, with the other abilities on the War Scroll, the push, the guard, and the confusion, man, this is a real exciting warband to look at for like a full-on positioning scoring suite. So pretty excited for them. And
it's a digital download. So if you know somebody who would get excited to play with you now with Spike Oz Wars Swarm, print it out, throw some proxies at them, get them playing.
yeah, exactly. We're going to keep it chaos, and that's the Thricefold Discord here. A warband I have yet to have seen on the table since their re-release in this most recent, and some of it's because they changed so much it was hard to wrap your head around what they were trying to do. The main thing here is that they have this temptation dice mechanic and some things that they can do otherwise, but the core mechanic is that anytime your opponent rolls, if they roll an unsuccessful dice in an attack roll, you can tempt them, which is, hey, you can turn that into a success, not a crit, but just a normal success. And it used to be that if they accepted that, then you would get to push a fighter. If they rejected it, then you would do a damage to the attacker. They've just flip-flopped those incentives, and I'm super interested to see how much mileage they have with that.
Man, I tried to use I like the temptation mechanic from like their Age of Sigmar army, the Hedonites of Slaanesh. Yeah. But with the previous iteration of it, I just felt like it was always never in my benefit as the Thricefold player. It always felt like I was just damaging myself more in order to try and push somebody, and that never felt like a actual pro ability for me. I was always guaranteeing more damage, and like they would just get chewed down. Their defense isn't so outrageously good that it would withstand being 15 health on the board. So I'm super excited about this. Offering like damage for damage makes a lot of sense, and then assuming that they aren't going to want a bunch of pings until it's like necessary, then I'm going to get more mobility out of it, get more of that turret feeling out of not just Vexmore, but each of them. I really like that.
Yeah.
Feels like more of a push-pull, like before as the Thricefold player, I found myself gritting the teeth going like this is like, I didn't enjoy the decision, but I feel like now it's flipped.
Yeah.
I also feel like it means that you're going to get to push a hell of a lot more than you did before. Because if you're just offering, them to damage themselves, and they're like constantly, they're going to say no eventually, like probably pretty quickly, most of the time. And so I imagine, I really like this change as well. I think damage for damage is where it should be, and you'll get to push more. So echoing a little bit of what Brian said there.
Yeah. Skyler, what about Xandar's Truth Seekers?
So the bow shot on repeat is back about. No, I'm sorry, it's not. I didn't mean to fake you out there, Bushi. This is cool though. I don't know if it's enough, but it's definitely it's fluffier and something I'm more happy to see. And that is Raptor's Eye has been replaced. So previously it was you can immediately reroll one attack dice in an attack roll if the target is on a feature token within 2 hexes of friendly Taros. Now it's again completely replaced. After another friendly fighter moves, push a friendly Taros up to 3 hexes. That's a pretty big push. After this push, Taros must be within 2 hexes of that fighter. So optimistically, like or maybe that's the wrong word here. I would immediately imagine all the different like tokens I can be landing on and like positions I can be gaining with Taros here. But I kind of feel like it's just going to end up being used for accuracy like 90% of the time. So I think I just hope that I'm wrong. Like I think that this is so cool that it doesn't give Taros a move token. It's a push of 3, the flexibility of within 2. That like I hope I just see it used in more ways than I've brought the bird adjacent for accuracy for this attack. So we'll see. The potential is certainly there.
Brian, keep it chaos, man.
Zickets, we got a change to the warp charged ability. They were always kind of like a RNG, like playing with fire type of faction warband here. So warp charged used to give you cleave, ensnare, and brutal for an attack after you resolve the attack roll and attack dice on a sword or a crit. So 33% of the time you take 2 damage to the attacker. Now we have it where you immediately inflict damage on the attacker, but it's only 1. And then that weapon has cleave, ensnare, and brutal for the attack.
Yeah. I think what's interesting about this is 1, you're less likely to just outright kill somebody, and 2, because it's guaranteed. That's how they inspire, is taking damage on their fighters. Right. So you can guarantee and inspire by using this. That's pretty interesting to me.
Right.
Yeah, that makes this a far more interesting change. I liked it for the reliability and like not having to spike out 2 damage on yourself, because they already have the other ability that will just straight kill one of their fighters, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, let's pull a little bit of that back. But I hadn't even considered the ramifications to inspire. That's really cool.
Skyler, it is my turn, but I'm actually going to hand it to you. Zendara's Gravebreakers. What was the change here?
And not to Brian earlier. Undying Love. Use this in a power step. Pick 2 friendly destined fighters, heal one of those fighters, and push the other fighter up to 3 hexes towards the other fighter. You can only use this ability once per battle round. What? I am so pumped. I've immediately regrabbed the models back out, put them in my bag. They were already warband. I was having a blast playing before. And this is really cool on several applications. 1, it means that it's available to you each round, so you might as well find your moment in each round to use it. Instead of like, is this the right round to pull this tool out? Yeah. And because heal can be a value of 0 in this game, like you don't have to wait until you have damage to use this. So you can start hanging out with that push of up to 3 right away if you see an application for it. And then the other thing that's really cool about this is they both have to be alive. So it gives incentive, like further incentive for your opponent to take one of them out and shut this ability down. Yeah. I love this change.
Yeah. Very cool. I think it's a very cool change. My only slight disappointment was when this document came out, I very excitedly like scrolled to these guys and I was like, all right, what do they do to Zendara's profile? Like, oh, nope, still super weird. Or she just flip-flops accuracy on her attacks when she inspires.
And that's
okay.
It.
Yeah. What is going on there? Yeah.
Still, I think a heal and push is really good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No argument there.
Yeah, if I had imagined a change for this warband, I would have thought we would have seen her go up to 2 block. Done. Yeah. End of story. That's all I would have thought that we would have seen here. But this is fantastic. I'll take this. Like,
sure. I mean, the stick dentist is 2 block. She's got more meat on her at least.
But yeah, an extra push of 3 and a heal every round. Like, that's potentially 3 health across the game. Not to mention all the positioning tricks. It's so cool. And I guess the extra little bit too, like chef's kiss, is it just puts more focus on the lovers. Sure. The warbands really kind of in this edition became more about the zombies, and this really brings them front and center again.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, that wraps up all the warbands. We have 2 decks that got changes, and we've been just going in order of your document, but I think we're gonna hop ahead to Realmstone Raiders here, a deck that honestly we don't have a ton of experience with here because
I was gonna say you were not gonna try and like finagle it so that I had to talk about Realmstone Raiders, right? Like no one would enjoy that.
Just beating him down.
Skyler, I'm going to go ahead and give you Zondar's Great Breakers. Brian, I'm
reclaiming my time.
Realmstone Raiders.
Objection.
I yield the remainder of my time to Davy. I'll talk Realmstone Raiders. So there are 2 changes that we've seen here. One is basically the deck doesn't turn off when it's fighting 0 bounty fighters. So you can raid once or a number of times equal to the bounty characteristic. And that means, if you're killing, I don't know, a fish, then you can still raid. But probably more relevantly, when fighters are raised, you continue to be able to raid when you hit them, which is nice to not just have like a whole swath of the game that kind of turns your deck off. And then it has a store mechanic, and this was it took me a little thinking to think about why this was handy. So in place of a raid, you may instead reveal an Emberstone card from your hand, put that card on the bottom of your power deck. This card has not been raided. So basically for those unlucky, because we talked about in a previous episode when building with this, like, what do we need? Like probably 5, 6, 7 Realmstone cards in there to like try and make some of the other things reliable. Well, I've had some of those games where like I started with a hand I really don't like. It's only got 1 Realmstone card in it, and then mulliganed to like 5 of my Realmstone cards. Like, well, now I'm never going to raid successfully. Like and so this basically gives you a way to, hey, did you draw some cards that you really didn't want to draw? You can just feed those cards back into the deck and maintain your scoring. The scoring is already hard enough without accidentally making it totally impossible. So I like that. I'd be interested to see if that's enough to push it over. There's a few cards in that deck that are really kind of incredible. So I'm doing a little thinking about what warband might be the one that we might see this pop back out with.
Yeah, to add on to that, the card that you're forced to take at the beginning of a round, if you lose the roll off, sometimes that could be really painful, especially in like rounds 2 or 3 where you're like, I've only got 1 Realmstone card left, and then like, and you draw it, you're like, oh no, and like it's not an exaggeration to say like drawing from that deck could accidentally just shut your scoring off. Like the scenario that Davy mentioned where you started with 5 Realmstone, that could be reason to just be like, you know what, maybe we re-rack because like with the scoring in the deck, like if you're bringing the Realmstone scoring along for the ride, like that's enough to shut down your game plan. So I really like it, and it's way better in the later rounds as well. Like if you're going into round 3 and like let's say you get that draw, you can, or sorry, you draw for the round, you get 1 in your hand, you can spend one of those raids putting it into a very thin deck, because like this deck is already going to be thin going into round 3. It might be the only card you're putting into the deck, and all of a sudden all of the rest of your rating scoring is going to go off. So I think it's pretty significant. I kind of hate it, if I'm being transparent, because I just don't want to see Realmstone Raiders on the table.
As a judge, I do not want to adjudicate the bookkeeping of this end phase scoring. We as a community need to figure out some way of tracking this so that it's transparent. Otherwise, the squabbles will get really gross.
So Yeah, for me, this is a major pros and cons change. Like, yes, this is a buff, and yes, this is nice for the internal synergies of this deck. But now I have to see more of this deck.
I'm going to disqualify any player that shows up with this, and there's a judge call.
Sounds fair and balanced.
But can't do it. Can't bother.
The practice games I had back when we first got this deck, I had more wins than I had losses, and I
remember you saying that. You're like, well, I still haven't lost with this deck, and I was like, no.
Yeah,
you're forgetting the eye twitch that he had after each game because his brain was melted.
Yeah, so I'm curious to give this deck another shot. I'm curious to see if there's a better way to stomach all the tracking and to, I don't know, make it feel transparent and fun to track.
I think if nothing else, this is reason for me to bring it back out and just mess around with it. Maybe bring it on a Hexadus pairing or something like that, and just be like, hey, I know we delight in maligning this deck, but maybe we can be big boys and take our medicine and try it out. So
for sure.
I'm not a big boy.
That just leaves Raging Slayers, and this is one of the weirder changes. Brian, why don't you break it down for us, and we'll probably all end up pitching in a little bit on this one.
Yeah, so as we have seen decks, we've seen decks with amazing power decks and okay objectives. Here with Raging Slayers, we see an amazing plot card and a deck. Both the objectives and the power cards. There's just a few power cards that are fun, but so now we have a change to the plot
some
card.
Pretty great power cards in there, but it's a spread, right? The average is maybe not amazing, but there's some real highlights in there.
You're looking for a fifth of this deck, including objectives and power cards. But the plot card change is because it was just a reroll granter that was crazy accuracy bonus for aggro players. But so now the change is immediately after picking a friendly fighter to charge or picking a friendly fighter to attack, if they already had a charge token at the start of the turn, you can give that fighter and or another friendly fighter in the same territory each a rage token. So one of the things that was holding this objective deck back was that the only way to give out rage tokens was by charging. So that would take all day, and a lot of those really firepower cards were about removing charge tokens, and some of them were all of your fighters have charge tokens or something like that. And so it was rage tokens did not go out fast enough or go out multiple times because you can't charge twice unless you're just having to pair this with Reckless Fury. So that's interesting. Being in the same territory is interesting. So I imagine a lot of the objective cards are kind of seeing new life with this. But that's not all. There's another change. So you don't get the reroll anymore. Instead, after you make an attack roll as part of a melee attack for a enraged friendly fighter, you can immediately change one successful result to a critical result. Interesting. So this is, instead of just accuracy bonus, it's overrun?
Yeah, I mean, it basically
and stand fast denial.
Does not improve your accuracy at all, but I think, the big thing is what you hit on there, the overrun and the stand fast, manipulating that. That's something to kind of think about. So the more we play, the more we find overrun is kind of wild how good it is. So I think changing this plot card really kind of changes the whole face of this deck.
I think absolutely, because previously the objective deck was just an insult to itself. And now it seems a lot more viable, but at the cost of you're just not going to have that amazing accuracy bonus. We already had really overstated aggro warbands. Yeah. So I like that it doesn't increase the accuracy, but it kind of gives a different benefit to aggro. So I really like that change. Curious to see how the rest of the deck is, because if you just made the first change where you're handing out rage tokens, now the deck is also not attacks to an amazing plot card ability of giving the rerolls.
Yeah, I'm curious, looking through the objectives, I am not 100% sure how many of the objectives suddenly become playable with this. Some of them are still just maybe not great. But it's certainly like grounds for experimentation, right? Like I'm excited to see people mess around with it and see if they can find something that really works. I think the one that jumps out at me is Blinded by Rage, which is a surge where you had to be enraged at the start of the round, which was usually very hard to generate. Now, not so much.
But it also seems that the final sentence of the plot card was removed, which is remove all rage tokens from enraged friendly fighters at the end of the battle round.
Breaking news. I'm in there right now.
Oh.
And it is back. So,
really?
Yeah, I swear that was gone when I highlighted these. I don't know if I missed something. I think the Critical Focus channel, I happened to catch their video. I think they called it out too. So either we're enjoying a shared delusion, or this has been patched, because that sentence is definitely back on the card right now. So
is it?
Yeah. Now it makes me wonder if there's anything else I need to rip out my later back out for.
There's no time.
But yeah, so if you, like me, thought that had been removed, I did think it was weird. I was wondering even if it was one of those like templating things, because it's like the bottom of the card. But it's back. So there we are.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
Huh.
Well, that's cool to see. But yeah,
that makes more sense.
I want to jump in here as well. So one of the neat things, so like about that crit change, like is I think it'll be fun to look at the different warbands that have crit abilities, because this is going to help facilitate, your crit Grievous, your crit whatever, that you might have.
Condemners Inspire.
Inspire. So I'm really curious how many warbands are going to take a look at considering it as a result of that.
Sure.
I think that's fun. And
doesn't Velmorn have like crit abilities on their, like being able to stand fast with, like with their shield guys?
Is that a crit? Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah. Well, that's on the defensive rolls though, right? So.
Yeah.
Is it in this edition?
Ray shields used immediately after your enemy fighter's attack if the target. Yeah. Never mind.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Skinner can jump to mind for those early launches. They got some crit fillet, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then with the reduction in standfast, so we kind of have a trade-off here, where it's like before this was a higher accuracy plot card, whereas now like it's because it's going to more reliably prevent standfast, it's going to more reliably deliver damage, assuming the attack hit. So as long as you're bringing along enough accuracy already, like you're more likely going to push that damage through versus having another compounding accuracy tool in the game. That's like quite a bit of accuracy tools already, as well as like warbands that are inherently bringing enough because, hey, we're an aggro warband. So yeah, I like that. And then I think with the objectives, I wanted to jump in there too. Just like as long as a couple of the surges, or like 2-3 objectives total in this deck, have been improved, then and I'd have to take a look, but like if that's true, then it can help me to pairing much better than it ever could.
Yeah.
So because before it was just like there was like 2 cards, maybe 3 tops. I think generally like 2 that I would take from this deck. So maybe I'm excited to see people's creativity with it. I'm definitely gonna take a peek and see how much more I can push out of this.
Yeah. Well, gents, I know that you both have tiny children who'll be waking up soon. It's not just about the waking hours; it's about having a little downtime in between. So I thank you both for making the time and making it for the community, for the listeners, to be able to get something out audio wise in short order. That's pretty rad. Before we wrap, though, I'd like to see if I was going to pass it around the horn. Give me the one change you're most excited for. I guess I can go first, since you buy you guys a little bit of time to think about it. I'm tempted to say Rippa's Snarlfangs, because I love that warband so much in the previous edition. I know some people absolutely hate it, but honestly, I think I'm going to land on, I'm most excited to see what happens with Raging Slayers. If that changes the to have one deck that, because any warband can take any of these universal decks, I think that has big potential for changing. Whether it fulfills that potential or not, don't know. But I'm most excited to see where people take it that are smarter and more creative than me, and can do something cool with this. So that's where I land. Skyler, what about you?
I just want to highlight that there are 22 warbands that just got adjusted. And that's almost like my favorite thing on its own, is like how much more exploration there is to be had, especially with the large majority of those being buffs. Like only, what was it? Six of those warbands were nerfs. So that means we had, Skinnerkin, like it feels more like an adjustment than like nerf or buff.
I think so.
So that means we have like 15 warbands that just receive buffs. Is this unprecedented?
It is quite a sweeping change to have that many tweaks. Feels like a new era for the game.
I just have so much excitement right now to explore the game, and to like I'm gonna miss League Night tonight because I'm gonna be on kid duty, and I'm like so sad that I won't be out to like hear everybody reacting to this and talking about what they are excited about. So, and then two plot cards on top of that, whether I've got weird feelings about Realmstone or not, like this is injecting more creativity and exploration into the game. And that's awesome. And if I had to pick one favorite, I already mentioned it's Knives of the Crone. But the weird thing is I was playing Raging Slayers and Emberstone with them literally like last week. So I'm going to have to think of a new build or at least look at how this has changed.
Yeah, for sure. Brian, what about you? Most exciting change for you?
For me, it's definitely Commodore's Blades. Love. I did like the initial idea that they were like control aggro of dictating, you've been stabbed, so now you're limited. There's more penalty. And I think it was just completely outclassed by Spikeclaw. It's annoying to see this left hand versus right hand not talking to each other. And like, you didn't know that Spikeclaw were just going to totally outshine them, but I'm glad and rather that we have this active response where we do see new life given to Commodores, because I think they are far better controlling now that it's also factoring in Stagger into the equation. It affects way more things, way more cards are more interesting to this warband, but also just being a counter to Pillage I think is fantastic. So I'm super excited to see new life into them. They're a silly looking warband that I think with a brutal color scheme and paint job can make them really horrific and kind of amplify the terror of Surge or Stagger being way more punishing.
Yeah. All right.
How anti-Skaven of you to say Spikeclaw when you meant Skittershank there.
Did I?
Do they all look the same to you? These Skaven?
Yes.
I mean, gosh, I feel like I gave the responsible community answer by saying a deck, but I might have to change to double confusion final answer. That's so delicious. But that will do it for us. We are going to scamper back. I got to get this thing edited up in the next 48 hours so this can get out. These guys have to take care of their tiny children. So if you want to talk
so we're getting away without a flavor text quiz? We're like, all right, bye.
Yeah,
Nice try. If you want to get in touch with us, you can do so at whatthehexcast@gmail.com or talk to us on the Discord. You can check out the content from all of the rest of the Mortal Realms at themortalrealms.com. That includes the Hexodus blog, which now has 2 posts in a row. Oh my God. Actually, I'm going to credit that to Jake over at Goonhammer, who is basically my accountability partner, making sure that I release, because I don't want to be shown up by those dastardly folks at Goonhammer. No, it's been fun to do it as with a partner on that. Thanks to GW. Thanks to our patrons. Coming up next, I think you can probably guess there's some new content coming down the horn. When exactly we can release that episode is TBD. But you'll be seeing something soon there. And gents, you can't miss it.
No, there's no escaping it.
I'm going to apologize in advance, because I think this one's actually going to be pretty difficult. It is from a deck that you have rarely taken and a card that you would have almost certainly never taken. But its title matches our theme for today. I will tell you this, it is from Raging Slayers. And the quote is, if Brian, I was truly impressed by Brian getting, before the question was even asked, got it last week. This one is unattributed. Some seek to run faster than Hish's racing light, even if it leaves them smothered in darkness.
Blinded by rage.
That is a good guess, but is not correct.
Is this somehow No Escape?
No.
I wanted it to be so bad after my attempt to leave.
No, this is a ploy from Raging Slayers. I'll give you just another few seconds to.
Oh, is it Adrenaline Rush?
Oh, you are so close. I'm gonna lay it on you guys. It is Senseless Haste, which we had to do to get through this all in time. Can you either of you tell me what that card does?
No idea.
No. Exactly. This is why I was like, oh, the title's so good, it's going to be so impossible for them to get it. This is that friendly fighters have +1 move on the next turn. After any friendly fighters move in your next turn, give that fighter a stagger token. Rough stuff. But your recommended listening for this episode, it is from the Commodores. And I don't know if you guys know, this is where Lionel Richie was with a lead singer with this band, a funk and soul band. From the 1974 album Machine Gun, it is Rapid Fire. For What the Hex, I've been Davy.
I've been Skyler.
And I've been Brian.
And we've been recording. Thank God.
Oh my gosh. Don't do that.
Sorry, No, that is all. I thought there was something else.
Hey, Skyler, does Brian sound like a robot to you?
I was just going to ask the same thing. Yeah.
Oh, Skyler sounds like a robot to me.
Say that again, Brian.
Skyler sounds like a robot to me.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.